Hey everybody. I know that some of you are trying to get back to your Sunday football, which starts in about 20 minutes or 15 minutes on the East Coast of the United States of A. So I won't make this long. I wanted to share it because I have been watching a presentation last week, or a couple of presentations last week, and as I was watching these presentations, there was a presenter who was okay, and they had a virtual background, and in that virtual background they were on the moon, and there was a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of stuff going on. Hold on one second, let me fix my screen here just for a second. I want to add something. All right, cool, so that you can make some comments and I can show them on the screen here. But in that session, there was just a lot going on, and I could tell based on the people that were not only in the chat or in the comments, but just looking at the video of the people in the room, that there was a lot that was lost. And I could tell that a lot of it was based on just visually what was happening. And I've seen this quite often. I've seen this too often. So I just wanted to pop in to share with you three reasons that I want to recommend that most people who do live streams or who do meetings stay away from those virtual backgrounds. Now, there are situations where you can use virtual backgrounds and they work really well. Number one, for example, if you've got a green screen or one of those chroma key blue screens, and it's set up and the lighting is great so that your outlines, your shades are really crisp, right? I've already got a comment here. Hold on, let me share Larry's comment. He says, "Don't come from my virtual backgrounds. Let me be great." It's all right, Larry. Listen, so here are the things that I want to share. The first thing I'll share is that, number one, if your virtual backgrounds are well lit and you understand front lighting as well as backlit or fill lights, then that kind of creates depth and space, and it really allows for you to really be solid and separate from that image or from that virtual background. Okay, but that's not the case for the majority of people, right? So let me share with you three reasons really quickly that virtual backgrounds do not work well for the majority of people. Number one is that it distracts from your intended message. It distracts from your intended message. I don't know if you have been in this space, and I'm somebody who talks with my hands, especially because we're virtual. I want you to see my body. I want you to see my interactions, right? And there are a lot of people that do that. And here's what happens when you have virtual backgrounds, and you've seen this, right? It looks like you've got these weird gloves on. Right? It looks like you got these weird gloves, especially as you move your hand or you move your body around. There's this shadowing, and then there's shading that happens, and it's just weird. And so all of the things that you're saying or speaking about during those meetings are now a little bit distracted from, because of all of this crazy stuff happening around your hand. So let me stop for a second and share some of these comments really quickly, okay? Edwu says green screen and lighting. Yes, excellent, perfect. All right. Jesse says, I've been in meetings where people end up looking like aliens from other planets. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. So Larry, you also says, I'm glad you mentioned the green screen with great lights. That's what I use. Yes. Yes. I don't have a problem with virtual backgrounds by themselves, Larry, especially if they're done well. I don't have a problem with that. But if those are the ones where, again, you, as Jesse says, you've got the shadowing and the crazy, and it looks nutty. It looks insane. So, right. So that's one of the challenges. So that's the number one reason. The number two reason that I'm against using virtual backgrounds in your presentations or your meetings is it lowers your production quality. It lowers your production quality. In addition to the distraction, here's what happens. A lot of the virtual backgrounds that I see are not very intentional. Okay, sometimes there's branding, but sometimes there's a picture with wording or with text that goes behind the person, and you can't really see the entire message. You can't really see all of it. You see maybe a part of a picture, and the person that's in front of the screen, the person that's talking to you, is over some of the stuff that's in the virtual background. And so that distracts from the message, number one. But number two, it lowers your production quality. It says that you just kind of pop something in the background and you haven't necessarily given full thought to the experience that the end user is going to receive. Okay, you're kind of seeing, you put the virtual background up and you're like, oh yeah, that looks kind of cool. That looks kind of great. And then you don't think about, or you don't see what it would look like from the perspective of the end user. So you want to really think about, if you're going to use a virtual background, you want to think about, what is the message that I want to send with this virtual background? What is the thing that I want the user to see? Do I want branding? Do I want them to see something on the side that reinforces a point that I'm making? Do I want them to see something specific from a color perspective? Do I want them to get a certain experience? Do I want them to feel like I'm in a warehouse, or I'm on an island, or I'm at the beach? What's the experience that I want them to have, and why do I want them to have that? Okay, so I've got to think through that stuff. Somebody says, yeah, try not to blind us while providing light through the message. Yes, exactly. So you've got something happening here, and there's light coming through it, and there's the shadowing, and overall it lowers your production quality. The third reason that I want to stay away from virtual backgrounds is this: it creates overwhelm for you and your audience. There are a lot of things that your audience is processing. They're trying to process the auditory message. They're trying to process, if you've got slides or anything, or any images, they're trying to process that. They're also trying to process what's going on in the chat. They're trying to process any videos, or and a lot of people are distracted anyway. They've got their phones, they've got all sorts of stuff happening, and they're distracted because of the world is that way right now. So you adding another piece of information that overwhelms the audience doesn't really help your message. So you want to minimize, and you want to create an atmosphere or an experience where the user, the learner, can really, the listener, the attendee, the participant, whatever you want to call them, they can really be tuned in and clued in to your message. The other reason that it creates overwhelm for you is that every time you come into a session, a lot of times you start figuring out, okay, what virtual background do I want to use? What's the thing that I want to put behind me today? And that's another thing that you've got to think about. That's just another thing that you've got to figure out. So if you are going to use backgrounds, okay, tip that I want to share, be consistent with it. Number one. Number two, learn about what it looks like or how it contributes to the point that you're trying to make. And number three, figure out how the experience that your audience or participant is going to have from it. Learn to look at it beforehand from the audience's perspective so that you can see what it looks like. Run a practice session, right? So Debbie says, keep it simple, right? Great tips. And Larry says, great tips as well. Yeah. So one of the things that I've done here, I have on Facebook, I created this test group. Okay, there are few friends, few people in it. I created this test group. And a lot of times when I'm creating something new, or I'm going to start something new, I will do a test live to that group so that I can see, hear, and feel what the experience is like. That's kind of like my sandbox. That's where I play around, and that's where I really try to get the audience experience. Do I get it right all the time? Maybe not. You know, I'm learning like some people, but I'm still in a place where I have a playground, or I have a sandbox where I practice certain things, or I look at certain things because I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to learn. I'm looking to get better. I'm looking to up my production value. I'm looking to be a better presenter, speaker. And so I create that space. So hopefully that is something that you have considered. And if you have not, then I want to recommend doing that, creating that sandbox where you can practice your meetings and your presentations and your live streams. Okay. Jesse says, Woo not Nwangpa, so true. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. And Marcel says she never learned how to use them just yet. Well, you know what? Not so bad, Marcel. What I would recommend for anybody, if you're doing live streams, if you're doing videos, if you're doing meetings and presentations, I would recommend finding a space in your home, being intentional about that, finding a space in your home where there might just be a flat wall. Okay. Or maybe you have space to purchase a virtual, photography backdrop or something like that. Or it's just a really nice space in your living room where the light is facing you, where you're in front of a window or you have proper lighting or something of that nature, and make that your meeting space, your recording space. Make sure there's not a lot of distraction and noise there as well. Make that your meeting space, your recording space, your presentation space. And I promise you, doing that will allow your message to shine through. Doing that will allow people to see the level of intentionality and production that you've added to your content. Okay, so make sure that you do those things. And there are a lot of other things that you can do. And as a matter of fact, what I'm sharing, one of the reasons I'm sharing this is because this week, starting today, actually, we're doing what is called the Live Stream Confidence Challenge. Okay, so where's my hand? Boom, there it is. There he goes. Okay, the Live Stream Confidence Challenge, and here's what that's about. It's about really helping people not only to be confident on screen, figure out how they can share messages more effectively, but what are some simple things that you can do on live streams in order to keep them, in order to do with them what you need to do. Okay, in order to connect with people, in order to help them pay more attention to what you're saying. I'm going to be sharing a simple framework that you can use to structure your live streams so that you're not there just rambling. I've seen too many live streams where it starts out with, hey, y'all, I just wanted to get on here real quick. And I'm gonna stay here for about 2 minutes just so that the audience can be built. And I've seen too many of those. Okay, those do not help people to understand what it is that you have to share. Okay, people can watch the replay. There are a lot of different things that you can do in that time to value the time of your listener and also create more visibility, position you differently as a professional and somebody who's an expert in the area that you've studied, right, in your business, etc. So I just wanted to share that with you on a Sunday before kickoff for some of you. Okay, all right. When showing a continuous Chad be added without being a distraction? I'm not sure what you're saying. If you can restate that for me. Excellent. Okay. Larry says, this was good. I'll be mindful of my virtual backgrounds. I use them to promote my magazine, but I remember that less is more. Yeah, you can promote. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, using a virtual background is a great way to promote and be on brand with some stuff. I don't have a virtual background. This is a physical background, but I use my background intentionally to promote some things. Okay. Jesse says, I have a medium brown rattan divider screen that covers up my office chaos. Yes, exactly. Before, sorry about that. Before I started, before I had my background like this, I actually, at my other house, I had some of those Japanese panel dividers. And here's what I shared an office with my wife at the time. Right. And so she had her space, which was behind me. And the way that we had it set up was, if I showed you her stuff, then that would have been a distracting background. Okay, so I used those background panels or those dividers, and that really helped to create a separation, but it also created a focus on my lives. Okay, so Monique says, most people will watch the replay, but often the speaker will sit there waiting for an audience. Yes, Monique, no need. Right? Get into the content. People are going to see the replay. And more often than not, if they're like me, they will scrub through some of the stuff anyway. That's just the nature of our world right now. All right. Well, it's been good to hang out with you on a Sunday afternoon for just a little bit. We're going to start this live stream confidence challenge today. It starts today at 5:30. As a matter of fact, we're going to be giving away some prizes during the challenge. Are we going to be giving away a Tesla? No, we're not giving away a Tesla just yet, but we're going to be giving away some things. Here's one of the prizes. Here's one of the things that we're going to be giving away. T-shirt, Your Story Deserves a Stage. There's that one. There's a few others that we'll be giving away. We'll be giving away some Amazon gift cards, but you got to be in the room and you got to invite people. Those are two of the requirements to be entered in the prize giveaways for this challenge. All right. I look forward to seeing you there. We start today at 5:30. Get registered, share it with your friends, bring somebody along with you, because African proverb says you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go with others. Help people by helping them to be with you on this journey. Help people by inviting them to be with you on this journey. I look forward to seeing you for the challenge. Get registered. I'll see you tonight at 5:30.